Next on London Live News, a London doctor who specialises in dementia got so tired of watching many of his patients battling to try and find the right home care help, he decided to do something about it himself. Dr. Jamie Wilson has launched a new service which he says will allow patients and families to find the right carer online. And he even says he'll save a bit of money too, and he's here to explain exactly how it works. And thanks so much for joining us today, Dr. Jamie. First up, what were the issues as a doctor? You practice in West London. What were the issues that you found your patients and even families facing trying to deal with home care?
So there were two main issues. So firstly, in clinics, I would see families coming in with their relatives, and often they were really sort of very distressed because they were trying to look after their parents or their elderly relatives at home, but they couldn't find reliable care. So they would have a stream of different carers coming through, and that was very sort of upsetting and disorientating for the patients. And the second thing that was really very evident was this sort of concept of bed blocking. So people remaining in hospital, particularly over the winter period, and being unable to find care to go home to. And that would take, in some cases, up to 2 weeks, a month to organise. So it was really those two things that were just, really sort of everywhere you looked in the NHS and across the country, as well as in London, of course.
Now, you wouldn't be the first doctor to hear frustrated patients and relatives talking about this, but you're the first doctor to actually say, you know what, I'm going to try and do something about this, and this is your website then. So explain how it works.
Yeah, so it's an online service. So and really the kind of key thing about this is that you select your own carer. So you can go online, you search by your postcode, and then that brings up a list of carers who are near to you, and then you can actually look at their experience, you can look at videos that they've done, reviews from other patients or customers, and really you make that choice yourself, and then you meet the carer, and then you select that carer yourself. And that's a key difference between agencies, because agencies won't really allow you to select your carer, and you often get sent many different carers.
You can't select a carer when you use agencies?
You typically can't at all. So it's really sort of a matter of, you get what you're given. And unfortunately, it's sort of worse than that, because the agencies are now paying carers minimum wage. So carers typically leave the agencies. There's sort of 30% turnover a year. So it's not unusual to have sort of 20 different carers over a period of several months. So clearly, if you have dementia and you're disorientated and sort of really suffering from that, that's incredibly damaging to your health.
So by not having an agency, you're cutting out the middleman, which is saving money for carers.
So it helps both sides. So for families, it sort of reduces the cost. So they would typically be paying several pounds lower than they would do through a normal agency. Excuse me. And then for the carers, they earn 75% more than they would do through a normal agency. So that actually allows them to earn a living wage and to really make it their vocation, their career. And that's what many of the carers really want to do. They want to really sort of serve their patients. They want that continuity of relationship. They just want to earn a good wage as well.
But you say you are indeed going to save people money here and indeed get more money for carers themselves, but the whole point of an agency is that the carers, they're vetted, you can trust that they've done all the work to make sure that patients are safe. Do you get that by just going online and choosing carers? You lose that, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most important part of the service that we offer, because we do an incredible amount of vetting. So we actually only approve about 5% of the actual applications we get. And so we do criminal records bureau checks, we do very detailed interview scenario testing, and they've all got to have a lot of experience to actually be able to work with this model. So I would say actually we're probably more careful about the vetting and selection than most agencies are, because most people want to work with this model, but it's absolutely critical that families can trust this service and they know that the carers are experienced, vetted, and that they have very strong ethics, common sense, communication. All these things are critical.
Well, look, I don't know how you've been able to do this with your day job. Well done for that. Let us know indeed how it does take off, how indeed carers and indeed your patients respond to it.
Okay.
All right,
thanks so much.
Jamie. Thank you. All right, still to come on London Live News.